Hi, everybody. We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes or so. So if you want seconds, there's lots food left over. We'll be bringing out dessert here pretty quick. So if people want to get seconds and stuff, and then we'll begin in about 5 minutes. Hi, everybody. So, trust everybody's had seconds and had dessert, had their coffee. So, we'd like to get started. So, I'd like to call up the Guatemala team up here to the stage. If everybody can come up here now, that would be fantastic. So, unfortunately, we have a couple of members who are sick. So, Gay Spence is sick and Tim Cortez is sick, so unfortunately they can't be here with us, but we're gonna obviously miss them, and they were an integral part of our team, so yeah, it's fortunate they couldn't be here, but everybody, we gotta kind of apparently get in the middle, because we are being, now I'm gonna add pressure, we are being videotaped. Ooh, so the pressure's on. So kind of come on in and scooch maybe a little half circle, maybe kind of tighter in this way so we can all be part of the. Okay, so this is the Guatemala 2024 team. So I'll just pass the mic and you guys can quickly introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Nina.
Hola, I'm Jude.
I'm Christy.
I'm Julia. I'm Noelle.
I'm Kira.
My name is Karen.
Me llamo Rachel.
Ralph.
Shelly.
And I'm Mike, which you guys probably already know that. So yeah, this year was an actually really interesting year for us in several ways. It was our 10th anniversary as a team going down to Guatemala, so that was a milestone for us. It was the first time that we had a youth team come down with us, which was really exciting, and as you'll hear, the youth will share their experiences. And it was the first time that we had like a split team. So part of the team went down for the first week and did some stuff, and then the next week, the next team came down and joined us. So there was a little bit of unique team dynamics and coordinating everything and stuff that was different from what we had done in the past. But God was with us throughout the whole trip. As you guys remember, last year we did not get our sea container in time. So that was disappointing, but it obviously got there a week after we came back, and our second sea container came days before we were having to leave. So we were able to empty both the sea containers. What we did is we just gave them to Pastor Fidel, and they sorted it out. Are you on the, can you switch over to the presentation slides? There you go. So it'll pop up here in a second, but we ended up just, instead of us handing the clothes and stuff out, our goal is to support Pastor Fidel and his ministry and help him make connections to the community. So what we did is we took all the container items to his church, and then they sorted it all out, and then they invited families to come to the church to get their school supplies, their clothing, et cetera. And that worked out really, really well. So we were able to bless the community that way. Another thing that we had been talking about is the last couple of years we introduced Club DJ down to Guatemala. So last year we had 4 clubs, and we had, I have my cheat sheet because I knew I was going to forget this. So last year we had 4 clubs with 136 kids attending, and we had 20 kids come to Christ through those clubs. So this year we went down anticipating we were going to have 2 new clubs for year 1 and 4 clubs joining year 2. And as we got down there and met and talked with people, we ended up getting 6 new clubs starting up for year 1 with a total of 200 kids in those clubs. And the year 2 kids are carrying on with 136 kids in those clubs. So we're at 336 kids this year. So it's been really amazing just to see God open those doors and just see that ministry grow. I mean, one of our key goals down there is to share the gospel and bring people to Christ, as well as support Pastor Fidel and his family. So it was really encouraging to see. It was more than we expected, so we're stretched a little bit as far as the club DJ goes, but we're confident that God's going to provide for us, so that's awesome. So what we'll just do is, I guess, I'm going to give a kind of a plug-in for Guatemala next year, and then we're going to pass the mic down to the people that are sharing, and they'll share. And then right after that, we're just going to go straight to the different stations. So as we talked about earlier, if you want to see filters, listen to the presentation, how we share the gospel through the filters, you're welcome to go to the filter station. Information on the stoves will be there. There's Club DJ in the back. There's a sign-up sheet if you want more info about Club DJ or you want to be on an email list. Let us know. We'll put you on that. And then in the back, they're going to make a lot of noise because they're going to be doing games and fun stuff which is part of what we were doing down there with our picnic and youth night and stuff. So they're going to replicate that in the back foyer. So you're just welcome to kind of float around and stay at a station as long as you want. And there won't be a closing, just so as when you're done and you feel like you want to leave, you're just free to go. So we won't be coming back in here and doing an official closing or anything. So that being said, I'm going to pass it on to, and I should have turned this on, but I didn't. Actually, first of all, next year, we're planning obviously another trip to Guatemala next year, same time in February. So if you are interested, feel free to reach out to Shelley and I or Ralph and Rachel. And we like to plan a little bit earlier. We found that costs and stuff went up the later we planned, so we like to kind of nail this down a lot earlier this year. So if you're interested, please let us know. And do you remember who's supposed to go first? Okay, well, I did it, the slides are in order of whoever I had that was supposed to go first, so just a sec. Sorry, I should have had this open. I am... Just hold that just for a quick sec, okay. Hey, by luck, Nina was the first one.
All right. The part that really was, I guess, open to me on the trip was that the deep connections you could make throughout or without language, because the Spanish and English, and just to see the connection and the similarities and what God can do without language. And one part for me was we were playing Uno. Gay invited me to a game of Uno with the kids, and I had never met any of them, didn't speak any Spanish, and we just started having a blast just playing cards, and I was counting in Spanish and they were counting in English, and then we would say the different colors to each other and fix the pronunciations, and it was just an absolute joy to be able to connect to people that didn't speak the same language.
Just wait. Yeah, so one of the most impactful things for me was definitely when we hosted a youth night at Pastor Fidel's church. Before the trip, I kind of was freaking out, thinking that it would be so difficult to just talk to people that don't speak our language and don't live in the same country. But as soon as we kind of crossed the first challenge of going up to the kids, they actually welcomed us and treated us like their friends. And we kind of included them in all the games that we play back here in Canada, and they instantly fell in love with them. Whether the game was complicated or just keeping a balloon off the ground, they were always so happy to play with us. And in all these games, we used the small amount of Spanish we knew, and we were able to connect with the kids and create relationships that will last a lifetime.
One of my favorite parts of the trip was we weren't just there to bring water filters and stoves. One day we had all gone to do water filters, and we had kind of broken up into smaller groups, but we had gotten back together to go to this one house. And some people were doing the presentation, and there was just too many people. So Noelle and I actually went and got a soccer ball and just went outside and played with two of the kids, and that was my highlight of the trip. It was just we weren't there just to serve in that way, but to make connections, like Nina said. And that was one thing that I really noticed, was how friendly everybody is in Guatemala. Everybody says hi to you and is just really welcoming and wants to get to know you and to just make your day a little happier. And that's something that we're really lacking on in Canada. I can go to school and walk and not talk to anybody, but that's not how it is in Guatemala, and it was really nice.
I also brought a cheat sheet because I didn't want to forget to tell you anything. When I think back on our Guatemala trip, I would probably sum it up with one word: community. To start with, this trip confirmed that our community of youth is amazing. They truly were an integral part of making this trip a success. Even the very idea for a youth mission trip began with one of our youth back in June 2023. At that time, we as youth leaders were gathering feedback about our youth program in an anonymous survey. And in this survey, one of our youth wrote, "I would love to do a missions trip!" And in doing so, I think they planted the seed for what would become our Youth Guatemala trip. So soon after that, Gay and I met with Mike and Shelley to see if they thought a Youth Guatemala team was possible. And their answer was a resounding yes. They actually made it sound way too easy. So I'm like, hey, Mike's got this all planned out. And not long after that, 9 of us were signed up to go. We did encounter some pretty significant challenges on our trip, including language barriers, sickness, multiple border crossings, extreme heat, late nights, early mornings, and changing schedules. But despite this, our youth stepped right up every time and gave it their all. And I loved how they brought each of their unique gifts to our team. Another key part of our community was our fantastic mentors and teachers, Mike, Shally, Ralph, and Rachel. When we were preparing for our trip, they dedicated many hours to helping our youth team learn about Guatemala, how to build water filters and stoves, what to pack, what not to pack, what documentation, insurance, and vaccination requirements we needed, and important Spanish phrases like "Donde está el baño?" Very important. They also helped with many of the logistics, including fundraising, planning our itinerary and meals, and booking hotels and shuttles. We usually had almost enough seats in those shuttles to get where we needed to go. When we were in Guatemala, these fantastic mentors also helped us adapt and manage culture shock. They served as translators so we could get the supplies we needed and get to know so many wonderful people. One afternoon when I was feeling worried about my daughter's, Julia's, unusual allergy symptoms, which she doesn't have in Canada, a couple of these friends provided encouraging words of wisdom and took a moment to pray with me because I really didn't know what to do. Just as we were praying, a dove actually flew in and landed on the handrail right beside Gay's hand, and it just stayed there long enough for me to take a photo. It was like God's presence was right there with us, and his peace was just providing exactly what I needed in that moment. So it was amazing. There is a picture of it. Oh yeah, there he is. We are also blessed greatly by the community in Guatemala. We met so many people who continue to hope despite the hardship that they face. One day we met a family that had a son in a wheelchair, a grandmother who'd recently broken her leg, and a father with a cognitive illness who wasn't able to speak very much anymore. We also met a family that had a son who'd been bedridden for 17 months following a motorcycle accident. Despite these difficult circumstances, these families continue to persevere every day for the sake of those that they love. Another day, I met 2 girls in their late teens who shared that both of their moms had recently passed away. As a mother of 3 girls, it brought me to tears to think these girls have to navigate life without their mom. But later that evening, as I shared this with our team, they encouraged me with words of hope, reminding me God is still good despite the brokenness we see around us. In John 4, Jesus said to a woman at a well, "Everyone who drinks from the water in this well will never be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst." Did I say that right? Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. In Guatemala, these words took on new meaning for me as we distributed water filters and shared the message of salvation with the families that we met. While the filtered water sustains their physical life and health for a time, the hope that our souls long for is the eternal life that only Jesus can provide. As a team, we prayed that the water filters would remind each family and their community of this living water that comes from a God who loves them greatly. I just want to say, or we all want to say, I'm sure, that we are so thankful for our community here at OAC, who has helped to share God's love and hope by supporting, encouraging, and praying for our Guatemala team. We know that many of you were praying for us specifically while we prepared and as we traveled, and your role played a big part in helping to make this trip amazing. We appreciate so much. Thank you for all your support and for sharing with us today. Gracias. Yeah.
Hi. I think one of the things that took me by surprise the most is how much people care for each other down there, even if they don't really know you that well. Because I got a really bad respiratory virus when we were down there, and I was still working, and there was multiple times where I would have to like sit back and not do anything because I couldn't breathe properly. And I, of course, would occasionally break out into a really bad coughing fit. And then whether they knew me or not, there were some people who would like come up behind me, and despite the language barrier, they would still ask or like try to see if I was okay. And there was like so many people who kept asking me, "Are you okay? Do you need a tea? Do you need anything?" And they kept offering me help. Of course, I said no because I couldn't understand them. But I think just the thought that people here, if you're like sick, they'll try to like avoid you more. Whereas people there, they're like, "I don't care if I get sick. I want to make sure that that person's okay." And that's cool. Your turn.
No.
I think they're playing a game of hot potato here. But anyhow, I just want to reiterate as well our amazing youth team. Like, right, as Karen said, right in the early stages, their enthusiasm, they came to all the meetings, they were excited to learn the filters, learn about Guatemala. And even down there in Kira, even when Kira was not feeling well, I'd be like, "Hey, Kira, do you want to do this?" And she'd be like, "Sure." And she'd get up and do it. And she'd go and sit back down and rest again. And I'd be like, "Hey, do you want to get this?" "Oh, yeah, sure." And she'd go do it. So it was really amazing going down with the youth team and just seeing the energy, the enthusiasm, the just getting right in, right? The first morning when we were doing Waffle Sunday, everybody just kind of jumped in and started gathering around and you know, trying to communicate. So really proud of you guys. So love to have you down again sometime. So thank you. So with that, we're going to kind of break out, unless anybody else has last minute words. Okay. So we're going to kind of break out now to our different stations, and people are free to kind of mingle around and ask questions and learn about what we did, and hear some more stories and things about Guatemala. So thank you everybody for coming, and as Karen said, thank you guys so much for your support. Like, over the 10 years, every time we plan a trip and we fundraise and we do things, God always provides abundantly more than we ever ask for. He opens so many doors when we're down there, and our ministry is really growing, and a lot of that is due to the support we get back here. Not only financial, but the prayer support that we get is huge. So we really appreciate that. Thank you. Feel free to mingle around. Hi, everybody. Sorry for kind of interrupting, I guess, is what I could say I'm doing. But I got Pastor Tim actually sent a video through that he wants to share with you guys. So we're going to give it a shot through the sound system on the big screen, and hopefully it'll work. So this is a video from Pastor Tim.
Hey everyone, I really felt that this was. Hey everyone, I really felt that this was important to share. If people are getting prepared to go down and are interested in going down and joining future teams in Guatemala. Specifically, I'm thinking of Pastor Terry, and the reason for that is me and Pastor Fidel, we connected over a very unique aspect of ministry in Guatemala, and that was specifically our stomachs. Okay, I'm working on mine, but somehow that came across that I'm trying to get into shape and things like that. And then he let me know of a very important Guatemala saying, which apparently is important enough that it rhymes, and it says, "El pastor que no tiene panza no genera confianza," which essentially translates to, if a pastor doesn't have a big stomach, you can't trust him. So that's just something to keep in mind if you need to start bulking up, Terry, to go down and minister in Guatemala. Just putting that out there. I don't know if that crosses to everyone, but apparently for pastors specifically. So important to know.
Feel free to carry on as you were.
Hey everyone, I really felt that this was important to share if people are getting prepared to go down and are interested in going down and joining future teams in Guatemala. Specifically, I'm thinking of Pastor Terry. And the reason for that is me and Pastor Fidel, we connected over a very unique aspect of ministry in Guatemala, and that was specifically our stomachs. Okay? I'm working on mine, but somehow that came across that, I'm trying to get into shape and things like that. And then he let me know of a very important Guatemala saying, which apparently is important enough that it rhymes. And it says, El pastor que no tiene panza no genera confianza, which essentially translates to, if a pastor doesn't have a big stomach, you can't trust him. So that's just something to keep in mind if you need to start bulking up, Terry, to go down and minister in Guatemala. Just putting that out there. I don't know if that crosses to everyone, but apparently for pastors specifically. So important to know.
Hi, everyone. Oh, that's a little loud. We're looking for a phone in a reddish pinkish case. So if you happen to see one that's unattended, if you can drop it at the tech booth, we'd be real happy to find that. Thanks. I actually